Hi, everybody. It's time for our week ahead spread for March 2nd, 2026 through March 8th, 2026. Now, as you can see here, we've got our three cards. Card one, the Six of Pentacles. Card two, the Knight of Pentacles. And card three, the Ten of Pentacles. That really threw me for a loop there. All Pentacles. So this is very much earthbound messaging that's coming through. Um, so, the simple question, start with number one, is what do we need to think about this week? And for that, we got the Six of Pentacles. That stands for charitable giving, helping those in need, assessing what is most necessary, and providing it. So I think what Spirit is just trying to tell us, and this is all very much based on regular everyday things that we would have to think about and work with and consider. So with the Six of Pentacles, what we need to think about, I think what Spirit is trying to tell us is that due to all that's happening, like the war in Iran and God knows what else they're going to try to pull off, right? Because squirrel, Epstein files. So of course they got to start a war. We're not stupid. We see through the madness. We know what he's doing. So I think this is just Spirit's way of telling us that we need to be more aware of those who are going to need help. If we have the ability to be charitable, if we have the ability to help out those around us in need, then that's part of what we're being asked to do. Um, it would be necessary to uh, look around you and see what needs to be done that maybe you can do. Because there's not one of us that can do everything, of course not. But we can help in whatever little ways we can. Volunteer at a at a food bank or donate some money so that they can buy whatever foods are necessary. It's actually more profitable and less expensive for food banks if they just have money donated to them as opposed to people dropping off food, because that way they can purchase in bulk foods that are needed, and they're not stuck with a whole storeroom full of green peas that nobody wants. So that's something to consider. $10, $20, $50, whatever you can afford. Maybe look into uh, donating some of your time at one of the shelters that are available. Or, I mean, there's just so many different things. And you can contact uh, your local churches in the neighborhood. The Catholic Church is usually pretty good about either running or being aware of a lot of the charity organizations in your town. So that's usually a good place to start. Um, you can also contact, people within your local government and ask them, are there any organizations that are there to help people in need right now? And so that's what Spirit wants us to think about, is start preparing for that. Um, because we can't afford to be in a war. At we're running low on ammunition from what I've been told. And we have no way to replace that ammunition because they've shut down most of the factories in this country and shipped them off overseas to countries that aren't motivated to make things for us for whatever reason. So that's something else to think about. So it's important that we look around and try to help those in need. in whatever ways we can. And I'm going to start yawning. Oh my goodness, excuse me. In whatever way we can, it's important for us to start thinking about ways of charitable giving. Uh, where are we? We're heading into Easter, which means few more months. School's going to be out. You're going to have a lot of kids that are going to be stuck at home all day with no meals because most of the red states, not all of them, but most of them, I know ours did this. They have cut off the federal government program that provides hot meals to kids in K through 12 grades. Um, Now, this was a program fully funded by the federal government, 100%. But that's a step too far for red states and red governors to feed the kids that are hungry in their state. It's better to make them go hungry. Um, and so that leads us to our next question is what do we need to do this week? And for that, we get the Knight of Pentacles. Now, the Knight of Pentacles basically stands for it's time to rest and regroup. It's spending time, maybe more so at home, quieter times, more domestic times, needing to adopt a protective or defensive stance. That concerns me, that part, because that really rings true to me that there are going to be a lot of us, especially in areas where the frozen agents have been let loose to uh, terrorize, torture, and maim innocent citizens. Um, that is something that we need to prepare for, um, either to assist those in need who are being wrongfully accused by the frozen agents, or whether it's someone within our own family that we need to protect. Um, there are certain things we can do to assist in that way. And that's not the only thing to worry about. There are also, again, there are food banks, there are shelters, there are, in a few months, kids who are going to be going hungry all day long because there's not going to be anybody home to feed them. So it's important for us to start strategizing and start thinking about how do we implement what Spirit is pointing us in the direction of doing? How do we make our time more charitable without wearing ourselves out? That's part of the, oh, excuse me, it's part of the time to rest and regroup. And it's important that we be strategic about it, that we look into things, we find out where areas where we can give help, where we can donate our time. Um, uh, and in that sense, it helps us kind of prepare for what may be coming down the road because we got some more bad stuff coming down the road. Um, in the end, we win and it will get better. But for right now, we've got more bad stuff coming down the road. So we need to be prepared for that in whatever way, shape, or form you can. One of the things I have been telling my folks for the past year is start stashing cash where you have easy access to it. Not in a bank, not in a credit union, not something that you have to use a piece of plastic to get to it. Start stashing hard, cold cash wherever is a safe place for you. Don't let anybody know you're doing it. Don't let anybody know where you're putting it, but start stashing cash. That way, if they try to shut down banks or mess with people's accounts, At least you've got money, you can put gas in your car to go to work. You've got money on hand, you can go get milk and bread for your kids, make sure they eat. Of course, you may not be able to afford milk and bread, but still, pardon me, drive out. So it's just time, it's time to rest and regroup. It's time to strategically think about what we can do to help those around us. So, what Spirit is telling us is that as we're thinking about it, as we're plotting it out, as we're strategizing from question one, now we're being told, okay, for what we need to do, we need to adopt a protective or defensive stance. And so that means, doing whatever is necessary to make your home safe, to make your family safe, doing whatever's necessary to help those in need around you so that they are safe. Um, and it's just, it's one person at a time, individually. I mean, I can't get up tomorrow morning and go out and take care of half of the city. It's just not possible. And there are organizations that are designed to do that kind of thing, but they need help with volunteers. They need help with money. If you have cash, you can give them. Um, so it's important that way to think things through, kind of get a game plan in your head. What can I do to help when the time comes due for me to help? And then that way you've already got it planned out. You've already kind of prepared for everything, and you can step out and you can start implementing that plan. Now, the third question, of course, is what is the challenge that we face this week? And for that, we get the Ten of Pentacles. Now, normally the Ten of Pentacles is talking about achieving long-term goals, financial stability, security, investments, inheritance. So, that again, that goes in line with try to pay off your bills, don't charge anymore. Um, Try to start keeping cash on hand, not directly on your person because you don't want to get robbed, but start thinking about what to do and how to do it. And how would you go about, excuse me, how would you go about achieving these long-term goals? Because none of this feels like it's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, we could be talking weeks, months, next year. But the point being is that we keep being shown that things are going to get worse. We know that. We've been knowing that. I've been telling y'all that for over a year now. That's what my guides keep telling me. Things are going to get worse before they get better. But we can do things that are going to help make those worst times a little bit better. Not only for ourselves, but maybe for a family member or just a neighbor or a coworker. So there are things that we need to look at. Like I said, strategize a plan, set it up. This is what I do, step one, step two, step three, and go from there. So part of the challenge that we're facing this week when we're looking at achieving long-term goals, and we're looking at achieving financial stability, achieving security, achieving investments, is that's part of our challenge, is to take those proper steps in advance so that we're able to do that when it becomes necessary. And it can be very challenging for all of us when we aren't prepared for the worst. Now, growing up on the Gulf Coast, I'll get it out in a minute. I've grown up with hurricanes. We know when hurricanes come, we have a hurricane season. It goes from June to November. Okay, we've got our hurricane season. We have weather data that helps us know when a hurricane is coming towards us so we can prepare. One of the things you learn on the Gulf Coast before June ever arrives is start stocking up on supplies in advance. Um, if necessary, have some plywood in your garage so you can board up your windows if that's necessary. Um, Start stockpiling non perishable foods, um, anything from canned goods to boxed goods. There are a lot of stuff now you can get. There are military rations that you can buy now that are available on the open market. Um, so, growing up on the Gulf Coast and dealing with hurricanes, we learn there are preliminary steps you take when you know hurricane season's coming. You load up on batteries, you load up on water, you load up on food. When we definitely know a storm is heading our way, well, then we take into the next steps. You're boarding up your windows, you're getting sandbags, you're making sure that you have a a battery operated radio that's going to give you local news and local alerts. Because when the power cuts out, there's no internet, there's no phone because the cell towers are probably all going to be out. So it's the challenge for us is to look at our strategic plan, know what it is that we have to do in order to protect ourselves, our family, our friends, our neighbors, and then have that plan in place with all of your family members understanding if A happens, B is the response. If X happens, Y is the response. That way you're prepared for the worst to come your way. And if the worst doesn't hit you, okay, well, you're prepared for the next major storm that comes along. Or you have extras now you can give to people that are in need in your area. So I think that's the biggest thing Spirit is trying to get across to us this week, especially since we have all Pentacles, um, is the fact that we have the fact that we're being told it's time to take account of what's going on around you in your area, in your neighborhood, your town, your city, your state. Um, be aware of what is needed. So you strategically think through that plan and get things set in place. You got it in your head. You've got it written down on a notepad somewhere. If this happens, this is what we're going to do. Um, be prepared to step up and do some of the work that's going to be necessary to implement parts of that plan. And the challenge we face is to make sure that we have prepared for long-term issues, right? Um, I mean, if the current occupant decides to put us in a full-fledged war, which he seems pretty set on doing because he's trying to get everybody to stop looking at the Epstein files. That's why all this crazy stuff is happening. It's because he doesn't want us looking at how guilty he is and how many times he's in these files. So because of that, they're creating as much chaos as they can create. And so part of our challenge is to be aware of our long-term goals, look at them, strategize them, set yourself up for them so that you are prepared for whatever it is you need to do to protect yourself and your family, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, whoever it is that's going to need assistance. And maybe you can only help one person. Well, that's one person less that has to rely upon government structures to help them out. So I think that's our biggest message this week, is because of all that's happened since Friday, we are being reminded that we have to look at the situation around us. We have to strategize and set those plans. This is what we're going to do. We have to be willing to step out and start doing some of the prep work for those plans. And then the challenge is to make sure that we can follow through at the end. Now, I've said all of this. Some of y'all are going to be freaking out. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, we're going to war. I really, and I may be wrong, I just really don't see this escalating much any further. Most of it is just a reaction to the Epstein files. Squirrel, look over here. Yeah, squirrel, look over there. That's what he's been doing since day one he got back in office. He's been shouting squirrel every time you turn around, because as more and more information comes out with those Epstein files, as more and more people come forward and testify, he looks more and more and more guilty, because he is. So it's really important to know to know and understand the situations around you. I know a lot of people don't like to follow politics. I get that. I understand that. A lot of people don't like to watch the news, except their little local news they catch at 10 o'clock at night. I get that too. I used to be a news junkie 24/7. I can't do it anymore. I just can't do it anymore. So I only watch or pay attention to what I need to know in order to make rational, intelligent decisions about things. And so that's another part of this challenge of the Ten of Pentacles, is knowing and understanding what's happening around you so that you can prepare long term and know how to react and know what needs to be done. So this is what I feel like Spirit is trying to give us a heads up. It's going to get worse. He's going to keep pulling his stunts until we can get him out of office. And so it's going to be very, very important that we do all the things I mentioned above, and that we know that in the end, the good guys are going to win. And that's not them. They're the bad guys, and they're going to lose. And it's going to be very, very, very important that we hold our leadership, that we hold their feet to the fire and make sure that they follow through on what is necessary to punish those who have broken the law, who have lied, cheated, and stole. And it's very important for us to let our leadership know, if you're not going to do that, we're going to vote you out, and we're going to put somebody else in that's going to be willing to hold this administration accountable for all of the illegalities that they have done. And so that all wraps up together, because that's Spirit telling us things are getting ready to get really rocky right now. And I know every week it seems like it can't get any worse. It can't get any worse. Well, believe me, it can get worse, and it probably will. But in the end, Spirit has been very clear and has shown me very clearly, in the end, it will be better. It will be so much better. That's not going to happen overnight either. We're not going to elect new leadership and they're going to wave a magic wand and everything is beautiful the next day. That's not going to happen. It's going to take time, much more time than a lot of people are going to be willing to admit to fix what is broken and to right the wrongs that have been perpetuated against us. And we have to stick with those who are trying their best to do what is right. We can't elect leadership and then get pissed off at them the second day they're in office because they didn't wave a magic wand and make everything hunky-dory fine. It doesn't work that way. We have to be intelligent about it. So just hang on to the fact that it will get better. We will be the better for preparing simply because it'll make us more aware of what is necessary in times of turmoil. And so when we're prepared, it's a lot easier to get through it. Take it from somebody who's grown up with hurricanes. If you're prepped for it, it's not nearly as bad as if you're not prepped for it. So, y'all have a great week. I know it sounds kind of scary. Just hang on to the fact that it will get better. It will. It's just going to take time. And it's not going to happen as fast as we want it to happen. But it will happen. Okay. Well, I'm going to wrap this up for now. We'll get ready to go to bed. Got to get up at 5 in the morning, go to work. And y'all have a great week. Brand new month. We're just getting started. I still got to do my monthly March reading as well. And hang in there. We're going to be good to go. All right. I promise you, we're going to be good to go. All right. Y'all have a great evening. Have a good week. And I will see y'all tomorrow, I am sure. All right. Bye for now.